Hey everybody. Is that aligned? I don't think it is. I'm trying to get this thing to work. I got a new chair. Well, it's not a new chair. I've had it for a while. I just changed it because you guys keep busting my chops about the chair. So I'm gonna move the chair. Okay? So I don't want you thinking that it's something else. I should have done my face, before I went live. I look a bit, my face looks a bit oily. Guys, do me a favor. Go ahead and tell me in the comments if this broadcast is clear. Honestly, I should have prepared more. I should have. But that's the name of the game. So if you could sort of swing this broadcast to people that you think would be interested in this conversation. Hey, Stacy, I see you. I love your watch. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am not using a lapel today. Sorry, not a lavalier. I'm not using a lavalier mic. Oh, Stacy says you look perfect. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. Does the purple shirt go with the black? Because I'm sort of having misgivings about the black and the purple. And then I sort of think the tie is a bit too matchy with the shirt. Sometimes fashion is to sashila. Do you know what it means to sashila? To sashila means to mix and match. Sometimes fashion dictates that you become as different as possible. The worst possible thing you can ever do is your shoes match your belt, and your belt match your tie, and your tie match your shirt, and your shirt matches your jacket. The whole thing is just one gigantic color. You never want that. What you want is diversification. Having said that, please tell me in the comments, is this purple shirt working for you? It's sort of working for me. The only thing though is that the tie is a bit too matchy. I could have gone with a blue or a black. I could have easily gone with that. But did I do it? No, I didn't. Instead, I decided to play it safe. Guys, just, did Sticker, he did. Stacy was, Sticker, yes. Sticker came through here and he did my thing, and in fact, to be honest with you, and Stacy, I'm so glad you brought that up. Sticker, he came through. For those of you that do not know, there's a guy named Sticker. He's really good at audio and video production. We worked together on the first season of Icon Zambia. Him and his team, under the tutelage of David Kazadi, they put that whole show together. And Sticker is a brilliant guy at video, all things video production. So he came through here yesterday. I hired him to do some consultation. And in fact, he was organizing my space here. And the very first thing he said when he walked into my little podcast studio, he said, okay, Mr. Mwewa, the first thing we need to do is we need to clear your desk. Everything needs to come off, and then we need to start from scratch. So he did that. And in the process of doing that, and he compartmentalized everything. Ooh, that's a big word there, boy. That's a mouthful, but you got it. He compartmentalized everything. So he put all of my cables in one box. However, I didn't see where he put my little lavalier cord. So I spent 15 minutes looking for it. I don't know where it is. So consequently, I'm not using the lavalier cord. I'm simply using the Rode mic without the cord. Come in. Why? Who is that? Oh, my winner. Okay, just wait for me, Mulo. Just wait. Let's see. Finally, you got his. Yes, I did. I got his name right. So I'm using the. Now tell me, can you hear me? Because I'm one of these guys. I love using the lavalier mic. I love using the lapel mic. I find that it has more depth. It sounds better. It sounds crispier. It's funkier when you use the lavalier mic. Okay, that's a Michael Jacksonism for those of you that do. If you've ever watched This Is It, Michael Jackson says that at some point in the video. He says, it's funkier. So yeah, it's funkier when you use the lavalier mic. We can hear you good. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, guys. Loud and clear. I can hear you. I'm glad. Mubanga. Guys, let's get into it. There's a story that came out today. And you know, the moment I read this story, I knew exactly what I was looking at. I was looking at incompetence. I was reading an attempt to shift the blame onto somebody else. I was reading a lack of responsibility. Let's go ahead and say, can we say that? What I was reading was inconsistency. And the strange thing about this is that for those of us that have dealt with local government, that have dealt with Lusaka City Council, for the vast majority of my life, I know council language when I see it. And it takes a seasoned community participant to recognize jargon, rhetoric, empty rhetoric when you hear it and when you read it. Let me bring you up to speed. The story broke not too long ago that in Chingola, you guys know Chingola. Chingola is a very famous town. It's famous for many, many things. Chiwempala, the recent fiasco at the market, the Chiwempala market that was burnt in the Chingola area there. Chingola is known for, it's got lots of illegal mining there, and there are lots of jerabos there. The word jerabo comes from the word jail boy, because they used to arrest them so much, they frequented the jails so much that they call them jail boys. But the word jerabo is a derivative of the word jail boy. That's where jerabo comes from. Of course, they will deny all this and they will dispute it, because I've brought this to the fore before, and every single time I've brought it out, they've denied it. They've said, no, jerabo doesn't mean jail boy. Yes, it does. That's exactly what, oh yeah, it does. That's exactly what it means. So anyway, Chingola is known for that. Well, there's a story that broke out that the Chingola municipal, you know how we have here in Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia is Lusaka, which is where I live, okay? And I'm a proud LSKan, okay? LSK means Lusaka. Well, in Chingola, they also have a municipal there. They've got Chingola Council, just like they have Ndola Council, Kitwe Council. They have all these different municipals dotted all across the country. But all of these municipals fall under the umbrella of local government and urban development, as we say in Zambia. In Zambia, we don't say urban, we say urban. Local government and the urban development. So all of these municipals fall under Lusaka City Council. Now, the scandal was, and I've seen this play out a billion times over my lifetime, the scandal was that a group of people had illegally bought property on an airstrip, Kasompe airstrip. Do you know what an airstrip is? Could somebody tell me in the comments, break it down for me. What is an airstrip? Break it down. Because you know, my father used to say, if you don't know the definition of a thing, you won't know that thing. Okay? If you buy a tractor, what is the purpose of a tractor? It's to till the ground. If you buy a luxury Mercedes-Benz, in Zambia we say Mercedes-Benz. When you buy Mercedes-Benz, it's not Mercedes-Benz, it's a Mercedes-Benz. What is the purpose of a Mercedes-Benz? It's for you to drive around in luxury. A Mercedes-Benz is not meant for you to carry cement and the 6-inch blocks to take to your plot. That is not the purpose of a Mercedes-Benz. It's for you to drive around so that we can say, oh, Ababa. It's a fashion statement. It's a status statement. I said all that to say this. An airstrip is meant for what? Tell me. What is an airstrip meant for? Tell me in the comments. Because sometimes in Zambia, these things you have to break them down to the basic rudimentary level. Otherwise, people they don't get it. So you just have to say it the way it is. What is the purpose of an airstrip? You tell me in the comments. Tell me. Well, I'll wait. I've got all day. I'm not going anywhere till you tell me. An airstrip is a dirt road meant for small planes. Correct. An airstrip is meant for little planes to land on. Ideally, you're not supposed to land a huge, gigantic commercial plane on an airstrip. That's for an airport. But an airstrip is meant for little planes, Cessnas. You know what a Cessna is? It's a small plane to land. It's not meant for people to build houses on it. There in Chingola, under the Chingola municipal, land was being sold illegally. Not only that, properties were being built on that land illegally. So number one, you buy the land illegally because an airstrip is not for commercial, it is not for homes. You technically you're not supposed to build a house on an airstrip. So you've bought the land illegally. Secondly, you have built property illegally. Now imagine 10 homes were built on this airstrip. 10. The entire time that these 10 homes were being built, not a single councilman from Chingola came and said, imwe, ngapa mulekula mayanda pano. Bwana, kasompe airstrip te simalo iyai. This kasompe airstrip is not for these houses. Who has allowed you to build here, number one? And number two, why are you building on this land? Not a single councilman said that. You know why? Because council the rot, the level of rot in these councils, astronomical. These chaps, all of them, they are crooks. These chaps who illegally sell land, they are in cahoots, and the whole system is rotten. The entire system is rotten. I'm telling you. When it comes to land, this is the reason Sylvia Masebo, who is now the lands minister, you remember Sylvia Masebo famously said, the issue to do with land purchase and land allocation in this country is a mess. It is an utter mess. So let's get back to the story. So people illegally buy land, they illegally build houses, 10 of them. Now, how many people know the way things in Zambia work? If you're going to build a house, it doesn't happen by spontaneous combustion. It doesn't happen by osmosis. It doesn't happen because you click your finger, 1 minute there's land, the next there's a structure. No, it takes time to build houses. So it took 10 houses to be built. And then somewhere, someone in the Chingola Council, or a group of councillors, or a group of local authority people, they said, manje, these houses you've built here, you have built them illegally. So now we're going to demolish. So my question is, why are local authorities reactive instead of proactive? This is very indicative of the local authority nationwide. They're very reactive. They wait for something to happen before they act. They are not proactive in any way whatsoever. Local government, Lusaka City Council, proactive. Kuti, Kwisa, always reactive. Always, oh, they have built some shacks on top of the drainage system. Can you go and demolish them? But where were you when they were building them? Where were you when they were constructing shacks on top of a drainage system? Where were you? Why do you have to wait for people to finish building? When they build, they babika na window level, roof level, nama furniture. In Zambia we say furniture. Babika mumaya nama light babika na studying. Dida wapuisha fyo kubika studying wa unfa pa doba local government aba isabo. We are aware that you have just finished building this house here on the Kasompe airstrip. Are you aware that this is an airstrip? Yeah? Who gave you the authority, the unmitigated gall, the audacity, the arrogant wit of you to build a house on an airstrip? All reactive. That thing could easily have been avoided because you see, from the very beginning, Chingola Municipal is aware of people who are buying land illegally. They're aware of it. They know. So how do you now just wake up one morning and say, no, I think about manyumba pano ya pakisa. Let's now demolish. Now, this is what I want to focus on. Local government and the Chingola Municipal are trying to absolve themselves of blame. They are trying to turn it into a political thing because they've said heads are going to roll. And the local government has given Chingola Municipal 24 hours within which to explain, or as we say in Zambia, exculpate themselves. All political jargon. Exculpate what? What are you talking about? It is the fault of Chingola Municipal for having allowed those structures to be built in the first place. Built. You see, I'm such a Zambian, I love it. Let me say that again. It is the fault of Chingola Municipal. All those chaps at the Chingola City Council there, they're the ones to blame for that debacle. It is their fault for having allowed a situation where land was illegally bought, structures were illegally built. When those structures were built, totaling 10 houses, when the municipal there reacted by demolishing those structures, local government has now announced, Kuti, you chaps, you have 24 hours to explain yourself. How can you demolish people's houses? How can you displace families in that way? That should not be the conversation. You are scapegoating. You are trying to blame someone else for your inadequacies. You are trying to say to the people of Chingola, we are not aware. Because you know, if you read the report, it says, if you read the article, it says, and this is the language I cannot stand. Once you hear Lusaka, when you hear council using this terminology, just know when they start saying, no, they were not consulted. The stakeholders were not consulted. People were not brought into the fold. This matter was not discussed. This issue was not exhausted. When you hear them talk like that, just know, nibasikere. Oh, amaraiti chapala kwa tiaya. Oh, we alamweva to twatch to 7X with 700. I gotta turn on the thingamabob now. Gotta turn on the solar. Yeah, defi. My goodness. Well, I tell you what, if it's not one thing, it's a whole new other. Boy, I tell you, you gotta turn it on is what you gotta do. Lord have mercy, mercy, mercy me. Train a ride, 16 coaches long. Train, ride again. Well, I see my baby. You see what I have to deal with over here? You all see what I have to deal with? Right in the middle of my life, boy, I tell you what, that electricity just cuts off. What am I going to do? Nemolanda. Okay, here it is. Oh, by the way, I changed the chair. Did you notice that? Have you noticed? The chair is different. Yeah? Tell me if this chair is working for you. Working for me. All right, let's finish this broadcast. Right here. Louisiana song. You ain't lying, boy, I tell you. Elvis Presley sang that song. So what I'm saying is that the local authorities trying to absolve themselves of blame when they give the Chingola Municipal 24 hours to exculpate themselves, to explain how on God's green earth do you allow 10 houses to be fully built and then wake up and decide demolish them. The problem is that from the very beginning, the very fact that these houses were built on an airstrip should tell you that the whole transaction was wrong from the beginning. God give us counsel people that will look and say, no, you can't do that because the rules don't say that. No, but these local authorities, they only know money. That's all they know. Money. They do things for their own personal goal. They don't do things. Guys, here's the rule is this. The city comes first. If you're adding value to a designated spot, that's fine. But if you're doing things illegally, and you know what's frustrating about living in my country? Let me tell, and as far as the local authority is concerned, let me tell you what's frustrating. Is that I can try to follow procedure. I can submit all of the applications. I can do all the right things. I will be blocked. But the people doing the wrong things, their process is faster. Somebody tell me if you agree with that. I mean, I've experienced it. There are things I've tried to do the legal way, and I submit the right letters, the right documentation, the right submissions. Takes forever. But let a kada do shortcuts. Ni olo. First wangu. Mupase ni muntu. Muntu wesu mupeni. I see that happen all the time. It's very frustrating. All right. So in my view, my analysis of this situation in Chingola, the local authority is trying to absolve themselves of blame by giving Chingola Municipal an ultimatum, 24 hours to exculpate themselves, when they know full well what happened there. It is the incompetence of Chingola Council. It is incompetent for them to allow people to build houses on an airstrip. After them demolishing, turn around and say, no, how can you displace families? Well, you could have avoided all of that if you followed the rules from the very beginning. That's my point. All right. Lastly, Emmanuel Mwamba is trying to create propaganda around Makebi Zulu's accident. By inference, Emmanuel Mwamba is trying to imply that Makebi Zulu's life was under threat and that accident was an assassination attempt. Oh dear. Here's my question. Why would anybody want to assassinate Makebi Zulu? I mean, for what? For who? For what? For why? Why? What political, even if he was a political threat, who would assassinate him. But he's not a political threat. But if he were a political threat, who would assassinate Makebi Zulu? For what? For who? For why? For what for? You know, mwamba sometimes before you put things out there. Don't just spin things for the sake of numbers. Be responsible. You're a Zambian. Don't act as if you roll the dice and the chive, and you just say, no, let's throw this spanner in the works. Let us throw this out there and to say, no, I think Makebi's life was under danger. And I think his life was threatened and they were trying to eliminate him. Don't talk rubbish. Be serious. Be a patriot. Don't talk nonsense. Okay. Thought I'd share that with you guys. I need to go home. Do you know, today I was just exhausted throughout the day. I'm gonna go home now. Thanks for watching. God bless. Bye.